Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video. And in today's video, I'm going to be predicting the Weiss versus Miguez fight. If you are new around here, then you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Weiss is 30-0 with 3 KOs, and Miguez is 17-0 with 8 KOs. This fight is for the vacant EPU European welterweight title. Weiss's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Caraxa, and Miguez's last fight was a win via KO versus Moorcroft. This fight is in Weiss's home country of France, and I feel like that might play a bit of a factor in this, just on the fact of Weiss does seemingly have quite a big French fan base from what the videos I have seen of him, and so Miguez coming over, fair play to him. Definitely he wants the tough tests, and he's definitely getting one here. Weiss, as a fighter, he fights off the back foot, he has a good jab, he's experienced, he's accurate, he's patient, he's always circling, he counters well, he's balanced, and he has a high guard. I wouldn't say he's an attacking fighter, I'd say he's definitely more of a defensive minded fighter. He's not got high volume or anything like that, but what he is doing is good jab, constantly working off that. He's not overly powerful at all, and he doesn't really throw many power punches, but what he's doing is just circling, hitting with the jab over and over again, I suppose frustrating his opponents into just doing more stupider things, I suppose, and then he just capitalizes off of that with good counters. I'd say when he is maybe being the more attacking and not fighting off the back foot, he can get his shots off well, can work together well with that. I would say he definitely invites more pressure and wants people to come towards him, and I feel like Miguez possibly might do that. I wouldn't say he's overly an attacking fighter either, but I feel like he probably will do that if there's availabilities for Miguez to do that. But Weiss is going to want that to probably happen. I just feel like I don't think Weiss has fought that tough an opponent yet, and this is, in my opinion, his toughest fight to date. Yet Miguez, probably this is his toughest as well, but he's been in a couple tough tests. I mean, Moorcroft was a good tough test for him, and it is a good step up for Miguez. Weiss, it's nice to see him finally testing himself, I suppose is the right way of putting it, because when I'm watching these fights I'm watching with Weiss, you can't really take too much from them because they're not against crazy good opponents or anything like that. And when you're 30-0, you should be fighting like these high level guys, and you're not always really seeing it. And it happens with a few fighters; they just kind of have this padded 30-0, and there's nothing really too special about it. But I mean, as a fighter, he's good. He takes to give, so he will take quite a few blows to them. Give a couple back. He doesn't really throw overly many combinations. I think he is just more of a one punch kind of fighter, just to keep in and out of range. Even though I don't think he does that amazingly well either. He does it well, not crazy well, but well. He taps the way to a win is the way I'd put it. He's got a bit of a slow tempo, and I would say he's a good fighter. He does the basics well. I'd say that Miguez also does the basics well. I don't think he is at the same level right now currently that maybe if you look further up the division, maybe in Ortiz's or somebody like that. I don't think he is at that skill level because he doesn't have that attacking intent yet. But I think possibly that defensive work and that patient work can just frustrate fighters, and especially when you are fighting these, I suppose, worser opponents, it might be easier to frustrate them. And not calling Miguez a worser opponent at all, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's a younger opponent, and I think maybe somebody a bit more defensive minded could frustrate him. And I mean, he's coming off a big show, Matchroom DAZN. I believe it was last May, so almost a year since he's last been in the ring. Of course, it was against Moorcroft where he won emphatically, but I think that the kind of space of Spanish boxing at the moment, there's not too much going on around Spanish boxing at the moment, and they're waiting for a big star to come through. And I suppose Eddie Hearn was kind of hoping that that card as a whole would come through good for him, but it didn't really, Spanish-wise, come through too great for him. A few of the Spanish fighters did lose. Miguez didn't, but I wouldn't say that he by himself, unless maybe he beats Weiss, could be headlining cards. I mean, to be fair, this fight is probably big enough for him to headline a card for Matchroom. It wouldn't surprise me, but obviously it's not. But it's still a big fight in my opinion. So let's talk about Miguez as a fighter. So, of course, he's fought on big stages. I'd probably say bigger stages than what Weiss has, but I'd say because Weiss has a big fan base. I don't even know if I pronounced his name right. Because he has a big fan base, I'd say that he probably also has and fights with a lot of pressure as well. He's got fast hands, Miguez. He's got good combinations. He doesn't always give them off and doesn't always throw them, but when he does, and he did against Moorcroft, he was doing well. He can fight off the back or the front foot. That's what I'm saying. He probably will have to fight off the front foot versus Weiss, and I just think that I'd say that he can do both, and he's good at both, but I don't think he's crazily good at either of them. I don't think he's any better at either of them than the other one. But it's rare to see a fighter be able to do both and do them well, and he definitely can. He's definitely more powerful. I mean, like I said, Weiss kind of taps his way to the victory. He can do the basics well. I think he isn't crazily talented from what I've seen. I don't think there is anything there that's like, wow, this guy's going to be like a superstar. But if he can emphatically win versus Weiss, then maybe we could see something where he moves up well. He picks his shots quite well. He goes to the body, goes to the head, he changes levels, and he's good like that. And he's got good shot selection. He pivots quite well. He finds the angles. He's not got crazy good defensive movement, crazy good defense at all, really. Versus Moorcroft, when he sensed that Moorcroft was hurt, he just kind of got rid of all defence and then just went full out attack, and obviously it worked, but it might not work against everybody. He fights probably better at mid-range in my opinion than he does at close range. I think there's times where he'll go in close and maybe come off a little bit worse in the situations, because I think when he's behind his jab is where he'll do his best work, where he can find the punches best. And he doesn't throw too much. I don't think Weiss throws too much. And so I think this would be a good technical display of boxing, just to be able to see who can maybe outlast the other opponent mentally wise instead of possibly physically wise. And I would say that neither of these two opponents or these two fighters are overly used to 12 round fights. They've both had 12 round fights and they both fought at a title level, but they're not over like not all their fights have been as recent 12 round fights, and so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I think they'll be able to last it well. I think they're both well conditioned, but it'll be interesting to see how they are come the 12th round. I also believe that Weiss is the IBO Intercontinental welterweight champion. I don't know if that belt, and I don't believe that belt is on the line for this fight, but I believe he is that champion. If not, he's vacated it. And I think Miguez might have been the EBU European champion that they're fighting for now, and might have vacated it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they're fighting for it now, and it's going down. So yeah, Miguez is wanting the tests. Like I said, I respect him for taking this fight, especially coming over to France to doing it. He didn't really have to, but I feel like he's probably thinking there's not too many opportunities in Spain, and he's probably outgrown most of the fights in Spain, and he's probably thinking if Matchroom aren't really thinking about coming back there, then he's probably not really too much of an option of many other big fights, and so he's probably had to get Weiss for a opportunity for a big fight, and it's nice, like I said, to see Weiss getting the big fights. So Weiss is the favourite for this, and I think that Weiss will win via unanimous decision. I suppose maybe I've been slandering him a little bit here, but I think that what he can do is just jab his way to victory again. I think if he just does that, I don't see as much of or enough of an attacking threat from Miguez to be able to kind of cut him off or anything like that. I don't think he's got the possible speed, like physically. He's got fast hands, but I don't think he's got the actual speed to be able to cut the ring off, or the ring IQ to cut it off. And I just think that if Weiss can just keep circling around, keep jabbing away, I think he can win, and I think he can win relatively convincingly. I think it'd be a good fight nonetheless, and I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to find a stream for it or anything, but hopefully I will, because I will be trying to tune into that fight. And then possible opponents of them Weiss going on to next. I personally think he definitely should move into a top 15 ranked fight and should be looking for these top 15 ranked fights because, like I said, 13-0, he needs to be getting there now. And I think this is a good step to then him going into a 15 ranked opponent. I don't think he's going to go in straight for a world title or anything like that, but I think maybe the lower level ones, so somebody like an Avanesian or a McKinson or a Crowley. Um, I would probably say out of them three, the most likely would be possibly Avanesian. I think obviously he is coming off a loss, but I think, I mean, he's ranked by a couple of boards, and so yeah, I believe that maybe that would be the best fight for him. McKinson, I mean, he's going on his own little run of fights about now. He's fighting quite often, and he's fighting everywhere, and so I don't think there's going to be too much of a tough test for that fight to happen if it was to happen, because I think McKinson would be more than happy to come over to France to fight Weiss, and that definitely could happen as well, I suppose. Crowley, not too sure. I believe he might be with the PBC, might be wrong. So I don't know too much, but I just think maybe because he isn't ranked crazily highly, that could be another option as well. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like if you did, like video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.